But here's a little something positive that we found.
Here we are.
Apparently there is an attempt. Now, again, we'll have a lot to say about it in a minute because there's a little underlying component to this story. But apparently the Biden administration has approved a high-speed rail line from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So let's see what they have to say.
It's down here, you know.
Yeah, we're going to play the.
Oh, okay. You just want to play
yes,
it.
For this
okay.
one we will.
And now the project is getting a boost in the form of a $3+ billion federal investment from the Biden administration.
Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi and former Governor Jerry Brown talked about 2 high-speed rail projects between L.A. and San Francisco and L.A. to Vegas.
This massive federal investment takes us one step closer to high-speed rail as a reality.
The $3 billion will allow the first phase of the project already under construction, a 171-mile route connecting Bakersfield and Merced, to stay on track for completion sometime between 2030 and 2033.
Nancy Pelosi knows how to push things.
Well, you know, it's funny. I can't get over how Pelosi is still in politics, much less the way that she is presenting herself.
She looks a little worn.
Just slightly worn?
She looks a little weathered.
Weathered. Okay. Well, that's just.
Please
okay.
don't.
Don't do it. Dad doesn't like it when I have.
First of all, I don't think you do a good job with women.
I wasn't trying to do a good job with women.
No, I'm just saying.
Trying to stay a point here.
Yeah, no, she's not good. So I look at the speed rail thing, the high speed rail, and obviously I was happy that Florida finally has our Bright Line. Now actually will connect all the way to Orlando. It's amazing. It only took however many years to get that to happen. And I recognize that there is definitely benefit to this. But anybody who's been watching this show for any amount of time knows that when I look at the big picture, I recognize that the climate crisis cannot be solved by throwing money and technology at it, and that all of these things have so many other environmental costs that are never really taken into consideration. So my level of excitement post reading Bright Green Lies, which everyone should read Bright Green Lies, is that a lot of these things are very anticlimactic for me because, first of all, I realize how limited they are. I realize that politically, just to even get that little bit done is virtually impossible. Then it'll stall there. Then there'll be this problem, and there'll be that problem, because this is not a system to help people. This is a system for profit. And so when that's the case, their motive isn't about infrastructure. Their motive is about profit. And so these types of projects to me, it's hard for me to get very excited about. And also I know that in the long run, this is not what we need to be doing as a species.
You know, the problem more than anything else that no one is really talking about, I mean, again, there's multiple layers to the story that you have to keep in mind. Now, the first of which of that, right now, the Biden administration is desperate for anything. So, of course, let's build a high-speed rail system in a part of the country that doesn't really need it necessarily. Okay, Los Angeles to Las Vegas, that's not what I would consider to be the first place that comes to mind.
The place you need to put those are a place where you have unaffordable housing and a lot of working people.
You know, like Fresno to Los Angeles. You know, like that would make sense.
Or not even north-south, but sometimes east-west. You've got people that work out in wherever and work in LA and they can't afford. I'm just saying, but there again, this isn't for helping people. This is about profit. Yeah,
there's no question that this was not I wouldn't even consider it to be a thought-out scenario, but it's a scenario where on paper, it does make sense. Obviously, I'm a huge advocate. We're huge advocates for high-speed rail. It's one of the things that could actually mitigate some of the environmental issues that we have. But not the way we do it. No, and you're also not bringing up the fact that they have attempted to build high-speed rail in California for many years, and it has been delayed and delayed and delayed. And of course, it is mounted expense after expense after expense because everything is overregulated in California.
It's a whole other set of problems, which is why it's hard to get excited about a project like this. Between right now and that project seeing any benefit to any working person is so far off that it's like even just wrapping my head around it. I don't see the benefit. And again, that's not solving our climate problem.
No, it's not solving our climate problem, and I don't really think that was ever the intent.
No, because if it was the
not to
intent, it
solve
would be done differently. If we had something that, and I'm loath to say Green New Deal, but if there was a good public works project bill infrastructure going through that the government was doing back like they did with FDR, and you had, like the Civilian Conservation Corps, and you had all those things going on. And that was what was creating the rail. Then that would be a really good thing for us.
Yeah.
But what happens is these projects will get bidded out to private companies, and it'll all be about their shareholders and the profits. And honestly, I don't even get me started on where they mine their materials from, and children that are digging for things with their hands. So that's the problem. So if we did these things through acts of public works, that would be very different for me. That's how it needs to happen. These need to be public works done by us for us. And instead, it's companies doing it, often abusing their workers. It generally fails to employ people in the location that need the employment. And I'll bet you anything that they're not even necessarily going to make sure that they're using union shops.
Well,
and who knows where they source their materials from. There are so many questions about this that this is a problem for me now in terms of my level of education on this, is I can't even just smile and be happy. Like 10 years ago, I would have gone, oh, cool.
They're trying.
No, look, we're getting a railroad. We're getting a new railroad. How great. Like I'd be all excited about it. And now I see it and I'm like, yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's going to spend more than it's worth. And it's only going to benefit the rich people.
And
God, I'm
course,
so
my guess is
cynical now.
No, well, but you have a right
Oh
to be.
my God,
Everyone's like,
that's just so horrible.
well, the other problem that we also have in politics is that we have this tendency to applaud people for doing something that isn't even done yet. It's like, oh, did you see they're going to build high-speed rail in about 25 years? But, at some point they're going to get it
right.
done.
It's like they're getting the talking point photo op for it without having to actually accomplish it. And that happens all the time. But yeah.
Guys.
So I will be excited about rail when it's done properly. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.